Welcome to another episode of Divorce TV, and we've got some lovely guests as always. We've got Ruth Driscoll, who's a regular because she's part of the Alternative Divorce Directory, and Ruth helps people who are dealing with not always abusive, just sometimes controlling and coercive relationships. And we'll be going to having a good old chat about boundaries, which none of us, to be honest, are very good at putting in place. And we're going to end with a healing with a new healer we've got. So that'll be exciting. So get ready to chill out at the end. But first of all, we're going to go forward and have a look at what's happening in the news. Now, first of all, we're going to take a look at what's happening via the Sun, and they've been a bit disingenuous here. They're talking about the most staggeringly expensive celeb divorces ever, and then they say it's not just money at stake for warring celebs. Some end up embroiled in custody rows over children and dogs, while others are exposed as cheats or forced to hand over their mansions. But then they produce these really interesting stats, which I'm going to share with you. These are not the real cost of divorce. These are what the divorce settlements are. Now, that's not the same as the cost. A divorce settlement there is money and it's separated. So you can be sure that whoever didn't get that big chunk of settlement has also probably done okay. What they haven't told us is how much these various divorces actually cost, because that would be a much more interesting figure. But nonetheless, we're going to whiz through it because it's nice to see how the other half lives. How Jeff and Mackenzie Bezos, they're top of the list with a $38 billion settlement. It's just incomprehensible. Alec and Jocelyn Wildenstein, 3.8 billion. Bernie Eccleston and Slavika Radic, 1.2 billion. Mel Gibson and Robin Moore come in much lower at 425 million. Adele and Simon Konecki, 140 million. Tiger Woods and Elin Nordegren, a mere 110 million settlement there. Madonna and Guy Ritchie, I like this one, it's 76 to 92 million dollars. So they're not quite sure, and that might be because I believe it's rumoured that they used a collaborative process, or they certainly kept their divorce very private, and it seemed to be quite civilised. So I guess it's just they don't really know what the settlement was for that, but good on them for managing to stay out of the media limelight for a lot of that one. Ant McPartlin and Lisa Armstrong are 31 million. Paul McCartney and Heather Mills, God, doesn't that seem such a long time ago? That was 24.3 million. And then a paltry 10 million for Jennifer Lopez and Chris Judge. So let's move forward to something perhaps a bit more grounded and what we're more used to in real life here. Now, this comes from hit.com, and Jen Hatmaker files for divorce. The author talks Brandon split on Instagram. Jen Hatmaker has revealed that she and husband Brandon are getting a divorce. She addressed the split on Instagram. The author and former reality star took to her online profiles to address her split from husband Brandon Hatmaker. So who is Jen Hatmaker? Jen is an author, blogger and Christian influencer. Over the years of her career as a media personality, Jen has gained over 770,000 followers on Facebook, while 523,000 people follow her on Instagram. And I'm guessing that they were surprised about her getting divorced. That's the inference from this article. Jen is the author of a number of books, including the New York Times bestseller For the Love. In a statement, she said, "I don't know how to say this, and I still cannot believe I am even saying it. But Brandon and I are getting divorced. Although the details are ours alone, this was completely unexpected, and I remain stunned as we speak. I am shocked, grief-stricken, and broken-hearted." And then she asked her followers to be kind during this challenging time. Jen continued, "I beg you to spare us your cruelty," she says. "We have suffered so greatly. Hateful comments that harm our family will be deleted. The kids and I are getting away to retreat for a while, and I ask for your kindness and for some room to breathe. Please respect the privacy of our children and our extended family." Firstly, it's so sad that she has to actually ask her followers to not be cruel. And again, it does seem amazing in this day and age that there are still people out there who are shocked and stunned when divorce happens to them. It's like it's some kind of weird thing that just happens to some people. I used to think like that, and then I discovered that it's just something that happens to lots of families, and perhaps if there weren't so many judgments around it, there wouldn't be so much pain. That's probably half the pain that she's suffering at the moment, is the fear of angry fans feeling that she's sort of failed or something. And lastly, this is a very interesting one. So any lawyers watching, I would be really interested if you think this could possibly become part of a UK or US divorce law. This is in Malawi 24. Qualifications, licences are marital property, says judge. This is a landmark case. The High Court has ruled that licences and qualifications are matrimonial property if acquired during marriage. High Court Judge Sylvester Calambera made the ruling in a divorce case of Chimwemwe Tewesa and ex-wife Ellen. The two married in 1995 and divorced in 2012. Tewesa was a breadwinner for the family, and he was at first a primary school teacher, then a secondary school teacher, and later a lecturer at Damasi College. The woman contributed, says a judge, through household chores and businesses. After he completed tertiary education, Tewesa divorced his wife. The woman demanded the High Court to rule that there is property in the education qualifications of the man, and that the qualifications are family property. One interesting idea. The woman demanded the High Court to rule that there is property in the education, and Kallenberg noted that cases of a person divorcing their partner after attaining a degree are usual, though such conduct is unfortunate and ungrateful, he says. He said in his ruling that earnings arising from acquisition of qualifications or licences are marital property. According to Tewesa, a spouse who loses benefits from such qualifications through divorce should be compensated for the loss of distribution of matrimonial property and other monetary orders made by the court, while also considering the other spouse's earnings. He then ordered Tewesa to compensate his ex-wife, saying the amount will be assessed by the registrar of the High Court. Be interesting to know how much they value his qualifications as. So now we're going to get ready to talk to Ruth Driscoll. Welcome, Ruth. Lovely to have you here as always. And we had a great time last night. You must be exhausted. We had a high-speed 2-hour, very intensive divorce financial workshop, and you did fantastic work there, supporting people in the chat and sharing advice. So thank you so much for being part of that. It's really, really appreciated. Oh, I can't hear you. Have you got your mute off? Oh, good. I'm glad it's not just me. You're back.
Yes. Hopefully you can hear me now. Yes. Okay. No, it was great last night, and so much positive feedback from those people who attended. Everyone said they felt supported in a world where they can often feel in complete overwhelm. So well done, Susie, for putting all of that together and gathering experts together to help and support people going through this quite stressful process.
Thank you. And but out of that, I guess the next stage for a lot of people on their journey, when they're dealing with difficult exes, and let's face it, there were quite a few, weren't they, who were in all kinds of tricky situations. And as we're always saying, they can't just walk away from that. They've got to have an ongoing relationship because they're co-parents. You're able to help people through boundaries. That's your favourite word, isn't it? Boundaries.
Well, I think boundaries is a very, very useful word. And often when we find ourselves in a situation where that relationship, just doesn't seem to be working, and we don't really quite understand why, all we know is how rotten we feel. And often what can be at the bottom of that, what can be the cause of that, is that we haven't really got healthy boundaries in place. Now, those healthy boundaries, they're what you put in place to basically protect your emotional worth inside a relationship. Now, we do like to hope that most people are respectful of boundaries, but unfortunately, there are many people who, they if your boundaries are weak, then they're just going to step right in and take over. I know my feeling when I was growing up, and in the early part of my life, I always believed that, if you treated somebody in the right way, that they would reciprocate and do the same to you. And I had to learn the hard way that that is not always the case, because I myself went through an abusive relationship. So I had to learn that the person who needed to put those boundaries in place was me. I was the one that, the reason that I was in this abusive situation was because my boundaries weren't strong enough. They weren't defined enough. So if you're somebody who is in that situation, it can feel, especially when you're going through the divorce process, it can all feel so overwhelming right now. So what I would suggest is, don't overburden yourself by thinking, I've got to put those boundaries in place. How do I do that? How do I do that without exacerbating any conflict that's already going on? So I would suggest that a gentle way to start that process is just to think to yourself, what are my limits? Now, by that, what do I mean? I mean, what are the things that you feel, yes, I can tolerate? And what are the things that you feel, no, I absolutely can't tolerate? Now, this is really important because as you're going through the divorce process and you're separating from your partner, what you're doing is you're defining what the new relationship with that partner is going to be. And as Susie was saying, if you're co-parenting, then you need that to be a healthy, productive relationship. It doesn't need to be a close relationship, but it does need to be something that you're both going to be able to work for the very best interests of your children. And if you have a partner, an ex-partner, who perhaps is looking to do their best to be as awkward as they can with you, they want to punish you for what that they perceive are the wrongs that you have done, or whether they're projecting their wrongs onto you and making them your wrongs, because that's what often happens with controlling and abusive people. It's very important that you recognize what it is that you're going to tolerate and what it is that you are not going to tolerate. Now, that already sounds a little bit like a conflict, but that's not how it will pan out. But it's important for you to be clear, just inside yourself, this is what I will cope with, this is what I won't cope with. And at this stage, as I say, you don't want to be burdening yourself too much, but write it down, because getting your clarity around that is one of those things that's going to be really important. That's just the first stage of that, just getting that written down. So the other thing to take account of is your own feelings. Now, what you will find if you look back, perhaps over things that have happened during the relationship, areas where things have gone wrong inside that relationship, you'll probably be aware that there were times when, you get that little kick of a gut reaction, something that just goes, I didn't like that, or that wasn't quite right. But what do? Generally speaking, we go, oh, it'll be all right, and we keep moving forward, and we don't question that little kick of what our gut is telling us. And I've learned over the years, one of the things that I've learned in order to make sure my boundaries are healthy is you don't ignore that little kick. That gut reaction, that's something that goes right back to primal times. It's a protection system that we have inside ourselves. So if you're ignoring it, then it's something that you're ignoring, if you like, at your peril. So just be aware, be conscious. Again, even if at this point it's just registering your awareness of it. Now, if you do start thinking, right, okay, I'm ready, I want to express the boundary, that what I will tolerate with my partner, what I won't tolerate, and you start making those steps towards doing that, make sure that the way you're expressing it is nice and clear. And what may happen here, particularly if your ex-partner has been used to treading all over that boundary in the past, they will kick off. And kicking off almost invariably means that you end up being sent on a guilt trip. Now, the key thing to remember here is that you are not responsible for the negative feelings that they have. Your boundaries are there, as I say, to protect your emotional worth, but to protect your time, to stop yourself from being exploited by somebody unscrupulous. So if they start kicking off, it's not because you have hurt their feelings. It's because they're annoyed that they're not getting away with it any longer. So don't be distracted by that and start to pull back and think, oh, maybe I was being a bit unfair, maybe I was being a bit harsh. Chances are you aren't. So, just be aware of that. But also, the key thing here as well is not to try to do too much at once. The secret to change is that you change bit by bit. If you try to make these changes all at once, then that overwhelm comes, the confusion comes, and much more likely then the conflict will come. So just, one boundary, one thing that you feel, I really need to get this in place, just work on that. Once you've had progress and success with one, then you can work on others as well. But the other very important thing to bear in mind here is that it's having boundaries is all about respect, and that of course works both ways. So you need to be the model of what how you would like to be treated. So even if your ex-partner is being a bit beastly and very difficult with you, just make sure that you're maintaining your standard, and your values of respect are shining through in everything that you do.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Crammed a lot in there. But I think that the important thing is, as you say, the idea of putting in boundaries in itself can seem so overwhelming, but I think you've broken it down really nicely there. And if people want to contact you and to get some help, what's the first step they make? If they're sitting there at home now thinking, I need to talk to this lady, what do they do?
Well, they can contact me at ruth@thelifeLiberator.org. Just send me an email and we can set up to have a chat. Just have a little chat about what are the challenges that you are facing, and then we can talk about the best ways that I can help you. And, I am able to change things around quite quickly. So, I'm a mentor. I give you very specific strategies that tell you not just what it is that you do, but exactly how do you do it.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Ruth, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very useful stuff there, and life-changing as well, not just because it can make your life easier if you know how to deal with that difficult person. You've got to co-parent with them. You can't just get rid of them, so you do have to learn a few new tricks sometimes. Now we're going to whiz through a little bit of lesson content. this is the QR code for here is for the divorce masterclass, divorce discovery voyage, and there's still a big chunk of it which you can get for free. So especially if you're early stages, do make the most of that. So the best way to divorce DIY, this is a UK version. I just wanted to it's from one of the downloads, free downloads that people can get hold of through bestwaytodivorce.co.uk. I just wanted to do a quick whiz through and make a couple of comments. So the first, this is laughable, of course, day 1, 7 days, 14 days. This is a lovely theory because the reality can be quite different because the family courts are quite overloaded, and obviously they suffered with COVID as well. So pay absolutely no attention at all to the timelines, but this is what it should be, really. Getting started, just remember that when it comes to doing the forms, that's the admin side. It's not the same as doing the financials. That's a separate process, although they overlap. Don't think that because you've got a divorce absolute, you're legally divorced, you're still tied together financially under UK law. So you do need to do both. So if you've got assets to split, you need to get on with that right at the beginning when you don't leave it to the last minute, because it will slow everything up. But yeah, you get the forms. You can do that online. You can use online divorce services. You can pay solicitors to help you do it. But you get those forms off, and then under the when you get to the petition issued 7 days stage, in this version, the most important thing really is in the UK is to remember that we are haven't got no fault divorce. So if you haven't been separated for 2 years, and that means not completely separated. So even if you're living in the same house, you mustn't be doing the shopping together. You must be able to demonstrate that you are separate and that you live separate lives. Otherwise you have to find fault. So that becomes a little bit tricky. But if you're a member of the Secret Divorce Group, we've got a nice template to help people to how they put in that bit about unreasonable behaviour. It's got to be handled very carefully. It's got to be strong enough for the courts to go, yay, they shouldn't be married, that's okay, but not so. It's not an excuse to have a massive go, and it can upset the other person enormously. So it needs to be handled very carefully, because you don't, otherwise you just kick it all off right from the beginning, which is why of course they're getting rid of it. But it's going to be not till autumn, till next year, where you don't have to find blame. And then what I've got here is 14 days AOS filed, acknowledgement of service. It's really just the other person acknowledging that they know they're getting divorced, which is quite important. This can kick off as well as a point of conflict, because the person who's petitioning goes, oh, they haven't filled in the form, and they get really cross with them. And sometimes I say, but are they good at admin? And they go, no, they're terrible. And just allow for the fact that your ex might just be a bit hopeless with filling in forms and getting things posted and back. It doesn't mean they're necessarily deliberately trying to be difficult. So perhaps give them some admin support, offer them the help of a PA, whatever it is you have to do to help them get over that bit where they fill it in and get it back nice and quickly. And some people fill in those forms together with the help of a mediator, and you can do it however you want, but do it in a collaborative way, not in a I've sent it off and it's another excuse for me to be cross with them sort of way. The apply for the decree nisi, that basically the court system will do its thing as long as you provide the information they need. Things will trundle along, and sometimes quicker than people think, so which is why you need to get on with the financial stuff if you've got assets to split right away. And then when it gets to decree nisi, that's the I'm almost divorced stage. It's just in case you change your mind. So you've got 6 weeks and a day to wait before you go, right, I'd like to apply for the final part, which is the decree absolute. My guidance on that is don't do that unless you have sorted out the financials and you've got them submitted as a consent order. Get a bit of a legal advice around that, because it's a legal document. It's really important to get it right, and that goes in at the decree nisi stage and becomes legally binding, so you can sleep at night. So that's a whirlwind tour of the divorce process in the UK. And now I'm going to just give you a quick look at this. Secret Divorce Group. It's got some a whole load of extra lovely people in it who have come in off the back of the divorce financial workshop, where they can watch the rerun there. We have monthly meetups and chats. It's free for 30 days if you use this QR code, and it's international. You don't have to only be English to come on in. And I do recommend you join us in there. It's a lovely, friendly, supportive community. And now we're preparing for our shared story, which is very short. This is another example of me going to someone's house and then videoing them. And my friend Andrew said some really interesting things about anger. It's quite short, but I want to share it with you.
That's it, creating a safe space and letting it out. That's the most important thing, is letting the anger come out. If you need to break some dishes, you break those fucking dishes. If you need to kick and smash and it's yours and it belongs to you, do it. You know, do whatever you need to do, which is within the realms of safety to you and others. Get it out.
And make sure the children know where they're.
Oh, make sure this is all done. When I say a safe space, make sure this is all by yourself. No one's witnessing this, no one can experience this. You need to just get this out of your system, because literally keeping it in will create a tumour in your body.
Great one. And he's not joking. And you really do have to deal with anger and emotions, because a lot of us, particularly parents, we have to suppress it all so that we can hide things from the children and we carry on, but it will come back to bite you. So if you have a very natural rage, anger, emotional pain, you do need to find good ways to deal with it, and certainly smashing things up in a safe way or taking up kickboxing. But also, this is where the healing arts become so powerful, because they can work on a very deep level, which brings us neatly on to our healer of the week. Rhodope.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. No, thank you so much for joining us, and you're going to share a lovely meditation with us. And I've got your name. You can't see it, but I've got your name under there. And just tell us a little bit about yourself and what we're going to be doing together here.
Yeah, hi. Well, so my name's Rhodope. I'm a meditation teacher and motivational guide. Meditation is my medication, and I believe it can help you through so many things. It's my go-to every day. I'd be lost without it. So today I'd like to share with you a calming and peaceful energy meditation that I've actually written. So I just hope that you will enjoy this. So if I can carry on with it, I can guide you through this beautiful meditation. So let's gently close our eyes, sitting comfortably and settling into our seat or our sofa. Noticing the seat that is supporting you and holding your body in this space. Sitting with your back comfortably straight, your hands resting on your lap, palms facing upwards. Relaxing your face, releasing the tension in your jaw, your mouth, your eyes, the front and back, and just being. Now looking at your breath, the rhythm of your breath, and not forcing your breath, just letting it rise and fall in its own time. Taking a moment to be completely at ease, in the present and in the now. So I'd like you to inhale slowly and deeply in through your nose. And then exhale slowly and deeply out through your mouth with a sigh. And again, breathing slowly and deeply in through your nose. And then exhaling slowly and deeply out through your mouth with a sigh. So let's check on how you are feeling today. How has your day been? Whatever that feeling is, just let it be, acknowledge it, and let it flow. So going to releasing our body and getting it into a calmful and peaceful state. Bringing our awareness to our toes, our feet, the bottoms of our feet, our ankles, our lower legs, our knees, our upper legs and thighs, our hips, our reproductive system, our lower back, the trunk of our bodies, the organs in our body, our chest, our beautiful beating heart, our hands, our fingers and thumbs, the back of our hands, the palms of our hands, our wrists, our lower arms, our upper arms, our shoulders, our neck, the back of our head, the right side of the back of our head, the left side of the back of our head, our jaw, our mouth, our cheeks, our ears, our eyes, the front and back, our third eye in the middle of our forehead, our forehead to the top of our head. And as we now send love, gratitude and thanks to our home, which is our body, we protect it. And now I'd like you to imagine that we are in a woodland. It's early evening on a beautiful summer's day. Everything here looks so peaceful, so beautiful and so inviting. The sounds of the birds as they sing their song in harmony, the feel of the sun on your skin, even the sounds of silence, everything is just as it should be. As we continue walking on our path, we notice a seating area, a beautiful pagoda adorned with pink, purple and red bougainvillea. And in the middle of this pagoda is a fire pit that's inviting us to sit and just be. As we sit around the fire, there is a blanket there for us. Choose the color of the blanket. Wrap this blanket around you for protection. This is our safe place. We can let go of all that is triggering us, all that does not serve us, burn it, release and let it go in the flames of the fire. The fire is hot. Its colored flames are dancing in all different directions. They are so alive and inviting us to take in its energy. As we settle down and close our eyes, the flames of the fire turn to a beautiful blue and vibrant green, representing our loving communication and beautiful heart space. We feel so at peace and so safe as the fire speaks to us. As you sit around the fire, I want you to call in everyone you'd love to join you on this journey. Bring them to sit next to you to join you around the fire pit. Feel their presence, their love, their support, and their energy. How do you feel seeing this fire? Do you feel an energy dancing in the flames? Do you feel alive? Are you afraid when you see the flames? Do you see warmth, brightness, emotions, passion? Do you trust this fire? Is there a fire within you that needs more flames? how can you reignite your fire energy? Feel the energy of a beautiful bright light enter the crown of your head, traveling through your body, feeling so at peace and so safe as the fire speaks to us. We need to be the energy we want to attract in all areas of our lives. When we are in the fire energy, the flames are moving and dancing in all directions, so bright and colourful. We are honouring ourselves at our highest frequencies. Our thoughts are like flames. We just need to get them out of our way and allow the spirit energies to take control. Please take a breath in now and exhale, and I will read you some self-affirmations before we finish this meditation. I am capable, I can do this, and I am equipped. Good things are still to come. I am powerful, I can do anything, but not everything. What I am doing is enough. I am strong, I have survived so many things to get where I am. I have responsibility for myself, not for anyone else. My voice matters, my opinions count, and so do others. I belong here as much as anyone else. I am who I was meant to be at this point of my life, no more, no less. I am whole, flaws and all. I may succeed, or I may simply learn from this situation. Fear, failure and faithlessness are choices. Courage, love and persistence are also choices. I can look for a solution, and if I can't find one, I can let it go. I am doing the best I can in my situation. I am worthy. I am enough. I am loved. So now stand up and slowly walk away from the fire pit. And when you are ready, please bring yourself back into your space, slowly moving your fingers and toes. Open your eyes and welcome back into the room. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you. I do love the ends of these shows. You feel so calm. And as a finale, as always, in the war of divorce, on the battleground of family separation, always, always make peace your weapon of choice.